Morning, gentlemen on YouTube. Anybody doing a composite repair? I'm doing just that right now. This is the first or the second step in a composite wing repair I'm doing for a gentleman. This came off an LMP3 car. It's not going back on the same car, and it's most likely just going to see light loading and definitely cosmetic loading, if you know what I mean. So they want this wing repaired and functional. It was damaged quite badly right through to the spar, basically removed all this material. It actually peeled up quite easily. Surprised how easy this all came apart. It's not a lot of strength in the bond at the factory, and it consists of like a V U-ish shaped spar. There's some shims on the top, and it's bonded in, and there's an upper ply and a lower ply, or lower skin and an upper skin, whatever you want to call it. And what we've done here is we've bonded in 3 plies of glass with epoxy resin along our damaged section. Basically, what we're trying to do is build up the back side so that we can retain the shape on the front side, or the outside rather, on the bottom, so that I can move to the next step, which is bonding in the hard points and then continuing to fill it up with urethane foam. And what I'm going to have to do there is support this upper plank in a jig with quite a few blocks of wood. You'll see that later. And the whole point of that is so that when the foam expands, we don't actually, blow up this wing. We don't cause it to distort on an upper surface because of the expansion forces of the foam. So that'll be a step-by-step process, probably quite lengthy. And then the goal is to sand down the foam to about 30 thousandths less than the top surface, and we're going to laminate back on top. I'll do a better job of taper sanding this out here, and then we're going to wrap the whole thing in 1 ply of carbon, and it'll be clear coated. Otherwise, got some tips on how to get your fiberglass to look like this. And you're probably saying, oh, what's that hole right there? Well, that's the back side of the aluminum foil tape. And you can see right here what you would think is defects is just where there was a crack in the spar, and you can see there's a line going from back to forward, and that's where I excavated out. So I'm going to have to do some further filling work on the back side of that. Otherwise, just looking around here, you can see all the damage that was excavated out, and you can see we've got a pretty good resin to glass ratio. All right, moving over here, let's talk about how I'm cutting this. I have a board. This looks dirty, but I actually did a pretty good job of cleaning it. It's just staining on the top. And this is my fiberglass cloth here, and I'm using a rotary knife. So we map everything out, and then we just, if we want to cut on 45 degrees to the bias, we do that. And obviously I'm not going to use this, so I'll handle this with my fingers, but there's a repair part. So if you're ever going to put that on, you want to wet out first, and then put that on, let it almost wet out completely. And then just go very gentle with a stippling brush and just work that resin in. So I cut out all my pieces first and mix my resin. Is what you want to do. You want to control the process, not let the process control you. And I didn't come up with that, someone else did. And then we want to laminate slowly. And we use a heat gun if we're losing viscosity in the resin and we're finding we have air bubbles. So we just gently, very gently go over the resin or the cloth with a heat gun, and we basically thin it out, and then we let it by itself. Don't force the fabrics. You're just going to get tearing. You're just going to peel the stuff apart, and then you're going to run over it with a foam roller. Once it gets tacky, don't do it right away. You'll pull the resin out. So you're just going to run it over with the foam roller like so, very gentle, very slow, and you're going to compress those fibers. You're going to pull out excess resin off the top, and you're effectively going to increase the appearance of your laminate, as well as taking out any excess resin and, of course, air bubbles. Otherwise, I'm going to let this cure here for whatever the thing says. I think I got a 18-minute work time and a 7-day cure, but I want to do some cohesive bonding into here, so I'm going to cut out my hardwood dowels, which I'm going to be using for the hard points. Where you see those 4 holes are the backside of the aluminum foil tape. We'll bond those in, and we'll accurately drill them 90 degrees to the upper plane. And I've already had a discussion about how we're going to make the wing mount, so that was important to make sure we were all on the same page, that I did something that they could pick up from when I deliver the wing. Otherwise, stay tuned. I'll show you the next set of processes. Probably once the hard points are put in, we'll show you what kind of rigging I'm doing to keep the foam in place and prevent this wing from blowing up. All right, well, thank you for watching.